Yeah, I mean, that just sounds like he had a fake ass DMT pen and he was just fried. What's up,
Hey, that
everybody?
might just go
My name
crazy
is
though.
Mikey Ecstasy. It's my first little reaction video on my channel. And thank you for watching the video, for showing up, subscribing if you do. The topic of the video we're watching is apparently how someone hit a DMT pen for the fourth time or fourth hit and they got their soul sucked out of their body. So I've never tried any DMT, but I'm very interested in learning more about it, as I'm sure you all are as well. That's why you're here watching it with me. We're going to find out if DMT is going to be something we want to try. And if you guys want to see me try it and give a trip report of my own, comment and let me know. But yeah, this is how the fourth hit of a DMT pen sucked Ryan, the leader's soul, out of his body. I don't even be taking 4 hits out the pen though.
Hi, I'm Ryan Leader, and this is the time I smoked DMT and became a sperm. It was after a...
Bro.
This is the time I smoked DMT and became a sperm. It was after a really long night of drinking, like an excessive amount of drinking. We ended up at my friend's girlfriend's apartment, which was like one of those fake like Italian villages, like her dad paid for it. I ended up outside on like a patio, and I'm sitting there with this kid named Nolan that I used to hang out with, and he was like hitting what looked like a weed pen.
You want some DMT?
What? No. And he was like,
All right, man, it'll change your life.
I'm just like sitting.
Bro's just casually hitting the DMT. That's crazy. So I mean my thought was when you do DMT, it's like you're out of this world. So I mean, if he's just hitting it like a nicotine vape, how bad can it really be, you know?
And it'll change your life.
I'm just like sitting, thinking about like my whole life. I've had a good life. If I do DMT and this like puts me in a psych ward, I'm good. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. My best friend was sitting across from me, and he was like, are you actually gonna do this? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And he was like, well, we always said that we were gonna do it together. And I was like, you wanna do it? And he was like, no. And I was like, all right. So I'm just gonna do it by myself. And then Nolan, he was like,
Hey, you have to hit this 4 times, and you're not gonna want to hit it the 4th time.
so I was like, okay. And then
Damn, he didn't even really put too much thought into it. He just, it's probably just because he was coming down from all the alcohol. He was just in that I don't give a fuck type phase. Because I know I get that way when I'm drinking. I don't give a fuck. We on whatever we on, and we ready to see beyond. So I guess that's what he was on.
the second one came in, and I was like, I don't like how I'm really feeling. This is really weird. The third hit, and when I breathed out, I was like, everything started moving. And now I understood why he said you don't want to do the fourth hit, because you're tripping nuts. Here's the fourth hit, and I was like, and he was like, real life, I just leaned back and very calmly sat here. But in my brain, what happened was, when I blew out, it was like I collapsed out of my body. My soul got sucked out of my brain. And as I'm collapsing, Nolan...
What does that even mean? My soul got sucked out of my brain? Like, the way he said that, I really believe him, but I don't even know what that means.
He shushes 2 people that were like talking in the other room, and he goes, hey, hey, shh, 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 shh. And his shush got like reverberated, and I'm like shooting down this tunnel. All I can see is like purple and green like spirals, woo, 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 and it felt like this never-ending like portal, and I just kept hearing the reverberation of shh, 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 shh. It felt like just my consciousness like going down this tunnel. When I got launched down the tunnel, it felt like I was leaving like a father figure. And it's not me, it's not a body, because it wasn't me. Like it's, I don't even know what I was anymore. I just was like this ball getting ejaculated, and I was like looking for the egg, and I was like, where's my mom? Where's my mom? Where's my mom? Where's my mom? Like, I don't know, like that's weird. I don't want to say that I love my mom's eggs. And as soon as I opened my eyes, I like
This guy's fried, bruh.
shot up off the couch, and I jumped up, and I was like, am I back? Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? And they're like, yeah, you're back. You're back. You're back. You're back. And they're like, it was 30 seconds. What are you talking about? I was like, am I back? Am I back? Am I back? And then I'm just looking around at this Italian village, and it's like, and I was like, is this gonna stop? Is this gonna stop? And no one's like, yeah, sit. And then I just like sat there and I was like, and I just started bawling my eyes out. And then I was like convinced I was gonna shit myself, piss myself. Like, I was like crying, and then he like held me in his arms and he was like, it's okay, you're coming out of it. And I just was like crying really hard, wanting to shit, wanting to piss. And then I just like said like, I was dead for months, and then I was okay. I went home and I was really scared, like when I put my head down on my pillow that night, that I was like never gonna be the same. And then I woke up and the birds were chirping and it was bright, and I was like, yes, I'm still me. So why DMT like helped change a lot of things in my life, like when I was like 10, on my 10th birthday, we were all gathered around singing, and my mom said this sentence that like really fucked up like a good while of my life. And she didn't mean anything by it. She just said, hey, you're never gonna be a single digit again. And I was like, haha. What do you mean? And she was like, you're 10, like you're never gonna be a single digit again. And that's like the first existential crisis I've ever had. I was like, holy shit, this doesn't stop. You're gonna die, everyone's gonna die. And I got really scared. And then when I did DMT, I was like, yep, I knew somewhere in the universe, I'm 9, I'm 7, I'm 6, and I'm 90, and I'm dying, and I'm alive, all at the same time. I'm basically Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar, not Dallas Buyers Club.
Tales from the
That to me is just fried. I don't think I'd want to do that. And you know what? I had an experience pretty similar where I wasn't the one hitting the DMT pen, but I was at my music studio. It was called Rich and Flesh, Livermore, California. I had a little studio session. I had the boys behind me. All of a sudden, I smelled chicken feet. I'm like, the fuck is that smell? It smells like chicken feet. I turn around. Mind you, I'm like in the middle of Pro Tool. I'm deep in a Pro Tool session, fucking mixing, mastering. I heard throwing Arvox on the vocal, trying to get my boy sounding all right when he trashed. But, you know, I was trying to put the magic on it. Anyways, I turn around. I see them hitting a cart. And I'm like, no, what is that? Because it didn't look like a weed cart. I mean, it did, but the color was just not the same. So anyways, they told me it was DMT. They were hitting DMT behind me. I smelled DMT. Shit smells like chicken feet. I don't even know. I'm just confused. That shit sounds confusing. Anyways, would I want to do that? Nah, I don't think. That's not for me. I don't recommend none of y'all try that shit. If it's DMT in a pen, that's not the same shit as real DMT. So maybe let's watch a different video. Hold up, let me watch one more video. All right, I haven't seen this one yet. Psych substance smoked DMT while on acid and found his true self. All right, fuck
And as soon as
it.
you try to control something as intense as DMT, it is going to heat you up and spit you out. But you know, I was younger, I was stupid, I thought I'm going to face this and see what happens. Hello everybody, my name is Adam, I am from Psych Substance.
I really like this guy. He makes good videos. If you're ever interested in anything, he probably has a video on that specific drug. Tap in with him. He's funny. But yeah, this is Psych Substance smoked DMT while on acid and found his true self.
And this is the story of the time I did DMT while on acid. I was going through a period where I was absolutely terrified of DMT. And usually when people are afraid of something, that's their message to back off and stop doing it. But I had a different approach. You see, I was painfully sad that what I found so much value in was now repelling me away from it, and I wanted more than anything else to face this fear because I wanted to continue having these mind-expanding, life-changing experiences, and this fear was in the way of me advancing my personal growth. Now, I had come up with a strategy. My friend was having a gathering, and it was a beautiful location. He was having a bunch of us over for an acid trip. I'm there, we'd all taken the acid. I started to work up the courage to smoke the DMT. The fear is so intense because it feels like you are facing your own death. And I had this idea.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If I ever smoke some DMT, just know I'm going into that experience as if I'm gonna die. I know I won't die, but like this version of myself would die in a way.
The best way to face the fear was to quite literally face my reflection, because I was afraid of myself, in the mirror while I did it. what if in order to face it, I have to remain conscious during this experience? Now, all signs pointed to this being an absolutely dreadfully terrible fucking idea. Because if you try to force yourself to stay awake, that's in essence trying to control the experience. And as soon as you try to control something as intense as DMT, it is going to heat you up and spit you out. But you know what, I was younger, I was stupid, I thought I'm going to face this and see what happens. So I went in front of the mirror, I was like, all right man, here we go, it's now or never, let's just do this. Lit it up, so took another big hit, immediately started to hear this buzzing sound.
So that's a common thing I've heard from a lot of people. I'm gonna call this the loading period, kind of like when you just jump through the portal when you're playing Call of Duty Zombies to go to the Pack-a-Punch, and it's like this buzzing, whirling spiral. That is literally how I imagine that first 2 hits of DMT. Like you're loading into the next room, whatever is about to go down.
And that is the signal that you're about to get carried away. I'm trying to hold with all of my energy, my eyelids open, because they just wanted to shut. I wanted to just get knocked over and get thrown unconscious, but somehow I managed to fight this as I'm watching my reflection when I didn't think I could hold it anymore, and then all of a sudden...
I mean, he seems pretty good. I mean, he doesn't look like a crazy drug addict or nothing, so I mean... Feel me?
And it was like... and my eyelids were jammed open, but I saw my face. It started to tug around the edges and start wiggle like this, like it went like, and it started to shrink into a gray little ball. It was this floating sphere. A literal jaw out of the ball drops down, a forehead explodes out, cheeks form, and in front of me is a polygonal face. Have you ever seen PS1 or PS2 graphics? Almost like Egyptian, like it had like a reverse triangle, upside down triangle, forehead. And then before I could blink again, the head starts to morph. It just starts shifting into different faces, humans, animals, big fat guys, small guys, young people, babies. It was like a character select screen in a...
This dude is just on random research chemicals, bro. I mean, he probably had some... knowing psych substance, he got the best of the best acid, bro, and probably the best of the best DMT.
Video game just kept switching so fast you could barely make out any one change. And I'm just looking at this and I'm blown away. I don't know what to think. And then again, before I could even stop to think, it slows down and it stops on my own face. It's back to my reflection. I'm like, oh good, okay. I recognize that guy. That's me, he's back. This was the breaking point, and this is the part that blew me to the ground. Teeth erupted, sweeping across my pores,
shit.
Scales leapt out. And I'm looking at myself now, and I look like, I shit you not, a reptile. Like, what?
Ooh, fuck. I don't even really want to get into that, but that's how I felt, bro, when I was sick. Oh my God, that shit's giving me like the goosebumps right now. Cause deadass, when I was sick, bro, I would look in the mirror and fucking feel like a reptile, bro. So I could only imagine. And you know what? One time I was on the shrooms, bro, and I looked in the mirror and I felt like that too. Like my face and all my features just felt so like almost too HD or too sharp, where it's like all the little imperfections are like almost getting highlighted, and that's making me look like a reptile because it's like scaly, but it's not really like that, you know, just playing games with me. But yeah, I'd be fucking tripping.
What would happen if a velociraptor evolved into like a humanoid? And I had this really weird feeling wash over me, like, oh my God, it all makes sense. But at the time, it felt like this was the perfect explanation for everything that I needed to know. It was like the answers to the universe were, we're all reptiles. And as soon as I got this, a sense of calm washed over me.
That's weird. So I was dating this girl off Hinge, bro. Just some random dating for like 4 dates. She was like 23 or whatever, from Mexico. And on our 4th and last date, this is where I was like, hold the fuck up. I asked her like what type of psychedelics she's been into. You know, she never did no shrooms, but she has done acid, she said. And she was talking about like reptiles and how they run the world and like all this crazy ass shit. And I was just like, I mean, I've heard of this before. I've gone down the rabbit hole of reptilians and all these different races, alien races and blah, 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 this, that, and the third. And so, but it was just really weird because me and this girl, I only known her 4 dates, and these dates were like very surface level dates. Like we didn't really go into like, you know, anything crazy. So when she was telling me that she thinks that there are real reptiles out here and they run the world, secret societies, all this shit, it almost felt like, okay, I know what you're talking about, because I do know what you're talking about. But two, I don't really know you like that, so it kind of just sounds like you kind of crazy a little bit. Anyways, I was vibing though. I was still trying to, like, you know, put the pieces together. But she did say that she did acid a lot of times, and she did also mention the reptiles. So that brings me back to this guy.
And I felt like I had gotten and learned exactly what I needed to learn. And I had this voice that was like, you can let go now. And I just immediately closed my eyes and just dropped. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta tell them what happened. My friend, he's going like this, he's pacing around like, oh my God, Adam's dead, Adam's dead. And he looks at me, this just relief washes over, he's like, oh, you're okay. And what he says to me was, did you find what you were looking for? So I burst out into maniacal laughter. I was like, oh, oh my God, find what I was looking for. I fell to the ground laughing. How do you encapsulate everything, all the feelings that I was just injected with into like a response using language? It is so challenging. There's no translation. Like, yes, I can say, oh, I turn into a reptile, I'm in a simulation, but to convey.
So that is so crazy to me, bro, that you just, did you find what you're looking for? And this man was just, well, I guess I think the problem with me right now is I like to understand why. I don't have a why as to why he did this in the first place. Maybe that would make more sense. Maybe he's going to explain that. Leads me back to him again.
That in a way that he's going to understand, I think, is near impossible. It's the kind of thing where you have to be in the experience to really extract the value from it. The next day, I was driving to the gym to do my workout, and as I was driving, I burst out in tears and I was crying because it was like, I finally figured it out. The answer that I was looking for was, we are in a simulation. Because it looked like I was looking at video game graphics. I looked like a polygonal character, a fucking character select screen like in a, I don't know, Street Fighter video game. To me, that was proof that this entire world is nothing but a simulated reality, and I had gotten my proof, and it was both beautiful and terrifying at the same time, because it was like, I felt like I didn't have anything to be afraid of anymore, because it's just a simulation. When I die, I'll wake up and I'll be the real me, the reptile.
Tales from the
Oh my God. He's fucking fried. When he dies, he'll wake up and he'll just be the reptile. Huh. Maybe that's what she was talking about.